Everybody, welcome. Today's episode, I'm going to be encouraging you to do your deep work, to start your YouTube channel. And this is coming from somebody who's been on YouTube for about 15 years now. I did take a multi-year hiatus, but I know a thing or two about a thing or two when it comes to YouTube. And I'm going to just basically talk about why you should start a YouTube channel in 2024/2025 and beyond. And more than why you should start a YouTube channel, I'm going to be more speaking to your inner gremlin, and I'm going to overcome a couple objections to what you're constantly saying to yourself. You're holding yourself back from starting on YouTube, and I know why, and I'm going to cover some of those things here now. So the first thing that you might be thinking about why you shouldn't start a YouTube channel is it's too saturated. And I want to just make it very clear, there is no such thing as saturation when it comes to communication of ideas, when it comes to the creative process. That's like saying the book market is too saturated, I'm not going to write a book, or the television market is too saturated, I'm not going to create a TV show. When Seinfeld was created, there had already been literally millions of TV shows throughout history, and Jerry Seinfeld could have said, there's already so many people who have done TV and shows and all that stuff. Why would I add my show out there? It just doesn't make any sense. And if you really think about it logically, you know it doesn't make sense. So forget that excuse that it's too saturated. It's not too saturated. Is TV too saturated? Is Netflix too saturated? You might be saying yes, by the way. There is a lot of content out there, to be sure. But look, what I'm telling you is if you have a desire to get on YouTube, but there's a little part of you that's not doing it because you're afraid it's too saturated, well, my friend, that's just plain old nonsense. So let's let go of that excuse. There's no such thing as too saturated. And also, just to give you a little perspective on this, I want to just show you a little perspective on the fact that there's billions of people in the world, and of those billions, only 5% of people who are on the internet are posting online. And of those 5% who are posting online, of even fewer percentage of those people are selling products or services. So this is why it's a blue ocean. And I know for a fact, I don't believe it, I know it, that we are in the beginning of this whole thing. We are in the very early stages of online media, of the new media, of there literally being no gatekeepers. Back in 2009 when I started, there were an awful lot of people posting on YouTube. And I personally saw how many videos were already being posted on YouTube. And I did it anyway. I went ahead and I posted anyway, despite the fact that my inner gremlin could have said, it's too saturated. There's a lot of people already posting. I could have just not done that. And you know what would have happened? My whole life would have been completely different. Since starting YouTube, and solely because of YouTube, I've been able to spend the past 15 years of my life completely free and unencumbered, and having my own schedule, my own time structure, my own MO. I don't answer to anybody else because of YouTube. The idea of YouTube, let me just give you a love sonnet about YouTube. Okay, the idea of YouTube is so mind-blowing. We take it for granted because we're on it all the time. But more people are watching YouTube now than television. And I don't know if you realize this, but when television was a thing, like a lot of people don't watch TV anymore, I'm one of those people. When television was a thing, to get a television show, you had to spend at least $10,000 to be on public access, which didn't guarantee you any sort of audience. But that's at the low end if you wanted a midnight spot on PBS and in the local city in your area. On a more practical level, it would have costed hundreds of thousands of dollars to create a television show. You needed a production team, you needed screenwriters, you needed producers, you needed the network to approve it. The fact that YouTube exists is one of the greatest gifts of our generation. And yes, there are downsides to social media, but if you at all have a calling, have a set of gifts and skills, have any sort of talents, have a desire to create your own schedule and to be self-made, not only is it possible in 2025 and beyond. If you're not doing it in 2025, the only reason is because you're just literally closing your eyes because you don't want it. But if you want it and you can talk, type, and think, you can start your own online business and you can start posting to YouTube. I can hear myself getting ahead of myself because I get so passionate about this. This is, by the way, this is not about consumerism. This is not just about making money. This is about complete self-expression. Which leads me to the next objection. Objection number 2, let me check my notes, is I don't like the sound of my voice. I don't like the sound of my voice. This is one that I hear all the time. I hear this from my friends. I hear this from the students I coach. I hear this all the time. I hate the sound of my voice, and or I hate the way I look on camera, and or I feel uncomfortable being in front of the camera. Newsflash, everybody does. Everybody feels uncomfortable in front of the camera for the first couple weeks of being in front of a camera. Everybody you ever see feels uncomfortable in front of the camera. Minus maybe like the 3% of the population who are just natural born, they love being in front of the camera. And that's just what they were born to do. Most people have a hard time listening to their own voice. Most of us have a hard time editing our own videos for the first couple weeks. And then we get comfortable with it. So here's my challenge to you. If you feel uncomfortable with the sound of your own voice and the idea of being in front of a camera gives you the cringy feeling and you feel like, oh, like I can't, there's no way in hell I could listen to my own voice. I want you to go ahead and do it anyway and plow through that uncomfortable cringe for about 14 uploads, okay? Just 14 uploads, maybe less. And once you do about 14 uploads, that feeling is completely gone. It's eviscerated, it evaporates, and you get over it. And are you willing to slog through that discomfort, that uncomfortable kind of cringe feeling for 14 hours? You know, that's about what it'll take. Probably less, but 14 hours. Are you willing to give 14 hours of sacrifice so that you can have about 1 million different doors open up for you? Maybe you get some sponsorships. Maybe you start an online business. Maybe you start selling digital products like I do. Maybe you start teaching, coaching. Maybe you share your gifts and talents. Maybe you promote your brick and mortar store. Maybe you're a hairstylist and you would triple your income with the clients that you bring in. The amount of money that can be made through YouTube and the amount of opportunities that can be opened through YouTube, it's so vast and it is unlimited. There is an unlimited amount of doors that you're opening. So if you can just plow through 14 uploads, maybe less, of being a little bit uncomfortable with the sound of your voice, I promise you, my friend, it goes away. Objection number 3, I'm not good enough, qualified enough, something enough to get on YouTube. Yeah, okay, let's talk about this. I'm not good enough, I'm not qualified enough, I'm not something enough, I'm not this enough, I'm not that enough. This is your ego talking. This is why it's really, 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 really good to post on YouTube. This is why I love business, by the way. I'll talk more about this in a future episode, but business is a training ground for the dissolution of the ego. Because when you start pursuing financial independence, when you start pursuing becoming free of trading your time for money, and when you start pursuing making a great living online or making a great living with a 6-figure business, doing whatever it is you want to do, and doing only those things that you love, when you make a choice, I'm only going to get paid for doing things that I love to do, and I'm not going to live this life doing things I don't enjoy doing in exchange for money. I'm only going to do the things that I love to do. What happens is your ego gets in there. Because when you have that desire, when you say, okay, I'm going to start doing big things, I'm going to start doing things that bring me joy, I'm going to let go of the suffering, and I'm going to step into how good can my life be? Is it really possible for me to make a great living doing only the things that I love doing, talking only about the things that I'm interested in? And the ego says no, because when you have that aim, that's an aim from your soul. That's an aim from the deep down part of yourself that's eternal. And when you pursue that aspect of yourself, the ego is at risk. The ego knows its goose is cooked. The ego's days are numbered. So that I'm not good enough, I'm not qualified enough, I'm not this enough, I'm not that enough. You have to quickly let that go when you're pursuing financial independence, when you're pursuing online business, when you're pursuing anything of any sort of stretching yourself, pursuing any kind of goal. You have to let go of those little objections of the ego. But I want to speak directly to your pattern, my friend. So your pattern that says, I'm not qualified enough, I'm not this enough, I'm not that enough, I don't have enough certifications, I haven't been to school long enough, I don't know if I can talk about anything, I don't know if I'm good enough at anything. Every single person that's watching this, you who is watching this, you have a skill set that people would pay thousands of dollars for, and you could be making 6 figures per year. One student who was at a workshop recently said, I don't know if I'm good enough. There's all these great teachers who know so much more than me. Maybe you relate with what I'm about to say. There's all these teachers who know so much more than me. I don't understand how I could possibly get online and make great things when there are people like that who exist. And to that I say, that's not what this whole thing is about. There are people who are hearing my voice right now who, for whatever reason, need to hear what I'm saying from my voice. There are people like Tony Robbins who can command a $10 million event, and he can hold a space and guide an event, and he's got this booming voice, and he knows the answer to pretty much anything you ask him. So I am no Tony Robbins. I'm no Ram Dass. I'm no Mel Robbins. Mel Robbins is amazing. There's about 1,000,001 spiritual teachers, motivational teachers, spokespeople, orators of all kinds. And I'm none of them. But that's not what this is about. You're not coming to me expecting me to be Tony Robbins. You're expecting me to be Brenda. And your audience, whoever they might end up being, are going to expect you to be you. And they only expect you to be a little bit ahead of where they're at. So you don't have to be quote unquote good enough. There is no such thing as good enough. You are good enough by default. And as you grow your skills and as you learn, you teach. That is the name of the game, whether we're talking about YouTube or not. And by the way, this transcends YouTube. This has been going on since human beings were human beings. That part of the ego that always wants to get in there and keep itself alive and keep itself small and keep itself safe, it will always give you the nonsense of, I'm not good enough, I'm not ready, I'm not ready, I'm not ready. I'm not qualified enough, I don't know enough, I'm not special enough. So let go of thinking about that and turn it to, who can I help and how can I serve? That diffuses that resistance. Who can I help and how can I serve? I just want to let you know, again, just a quick little background, quick little story. Every single time I've ever posted anything there's always been that little voice of like, who are you to talk about this? Or who are you to show this? Or who are you to, for instance, health and fitness. I've never been the most ripped, the most in shape, the most anything. I've always maintained about a 20% body fat and a very reasonable, figure, nothing unattainable. So I'm sitting here thinking, there was always a part of my ego that was thinking, oh, you don't have a 6-pack. You only have a 2-pack. Or, look at that frizzy hair. Like, who's gonna look at your frizzy hair? Like today, I'm about to go to the gym. I'm not fully ready. I don't have time to get fully ready and do this at the same time. And there's a little part of my ego that's like, there are people out here getting fully glam, and maybe you should do that. And to that I say no. To that, the true part of me is now taken over. And to that I say, no, because nobody cares. Nobody cares about my frizzy hair. Nobody cares about my qualifications or certifications. People care if I'm able to help them. So that's what people care about for you. They care about how you show up for them. They care about what message you carry and give them. Let's go to objection number 4. That's, I don't know how, and I don't know if it will work, or I don't know something. So this is a huge ball of resistance that a lot of people face. I don't know how, I don't know if it'll work, I don't know if it will manifest into something. So to that, I wanted to just read a quick quote from the Bhagavad Gita, and this has been the guiding quote for my life, quite literally for the past, I don't know, 12 or so years. This quote has set me free in a lot of ways and has allowed me to pursue my deep work and to hopefully help people like you. And hopefully this quote will give you some insight on doing your deep work. And it's this. It's, by the way, it's the chapter Wisdom in Action, chapter 4, verse 19. The awakened sages call a person wise when all his undertakings are free from anxiety about results. All his selfish desires have been consumed in the fire of knowledge. The wise, ever satisfied, have abandoned all external supports. Their security is unaffected by the results of their action. Even while acting, they really do nothing at all. Free from expectations, from all sense of possession, with mind and body firmly controlled by the self, they do not incur sin by the performance of physical action. So if we let go of wanting to be concerned about the fruits of what we do, we are then free to actually serve and express our soul. The ego is very concerned about what will this yield and what will the results be and will it be a success and how many views will I get and how much money will I make and how many people will I reach and all of these things. If you let go of concern of the fruits and you act as if you are an instrument for the divine beloved, which is, by the way, the whole point of this entire thing, you will be set free. Gone will be the days of your restlessness. Gone will be the days of your frustration. Gone will be the days of your wondering and hemming and hawing and biting your nails and rocking back and forth thinking, oh, am I good enough? Am I good enough? Am I good enough? Am I this enough? Am I that enough? Can I make this work? Can I make this work? Can I make this work? If you focus on the wisdom in action, what I just read to you, that the work is the reward. The work is the path. The path is the way. That is the point. That is the success. The fruits are in the journey. My friend, you are completely absolved of all of that stress. And ultimately, it's already a success by default. So if you approach the game from that angle, you win. You win. You start with a win. And then anything that you get, the results are the sprinkles. I would love to share another teacher that inspired me greatly with this paradigm, and that's the beautiful Peace Pilgrim. Peace Pilgrim is one of my greatest inspirations. The way that she lived her life, there are not many things in my life that have literally stopped me in my tracks. I mean, I'm stopped in my tracks all the time, but Peace Pilgrim, my goodness. When I heard the story of Peace Pilgrim and when I actually delved into her work, it was breathtaking, and it still is. I can't read a piece from Peace Pilgrim without losing my breath from just sheer awe. So Peace Pilgrim gave up her life to do a walkabout for peace, for the sake of peace. And Peace Pilgrim gave away all her possessions. Peace Pilgrim wandered the earth for 25 years with nothing but whatever she had in her pocket and the outfit that she left her home with. When asked, Peace Pilgrim, you're walking for peace. You're walking for the divine beloved. You're walking for this walkabout that's inspired by God. Do you believe that you're actually making a difference? Do you believe that this journey has impacted others? And to which she replied, the results are none of my business. It's not up to me what the results are. I can't know the results. So you can't understand the impact that your work has on the world. You don't understand it. You won't be able to see it. It's not up to you. Your legacy is not up to you. All that's up to you is to be an instrument for the divine beloved and to play the music the way that it wants to be played through you and to let it flow freely. And the results, the way the music sounds and all that, you let the divine beloved take care of that. You let the divine beloved distribute your music where it needs to go, and you let it do what it needs to do. you're going to be successful. Your work is going to reach who it needs to reach, and you will definitely be able to build a livelihood while you're doing your deep work in this world. And YouTube is going to help you immensely with that. But I just want to encourage you to not stress yourself out about trying to, quote unquote, be good enough and to, quote unquote, make this work. The only thing that you're required to do is to show up, to be you, and to ask the question. The only question that needs asking is, who can I help and how can I help them? And so I'm going to close this video by mentioning just very briefly, I have a course called The Confident Creator. And so that's my little offering for anybody who's trying to do their deep work in the world, and especially those of you who want to start doing YouTube and social media. It's created such an impact on my life, and my work right now has unfolded in such a unique way where I am actually teaching purpose-centered women how to do their deep work and how to use this beautiful platform called YouTube and also Instagram, how to use social media in a way that actually serves us. So if you'd like to learn more about how to become a confident creator, I have early pricing on all of my programs. I just created a brand new shop filled with courses that I'm going to be adding to. And they're all meant to help you to make all of this work. So I have The Confident Creator is a great place to start for you, and that's brendaturner.com/cc. And that's gonna help you to get past and break through the resistance that we just covered. But there's some more resistance that you're probably not facing, and also to help you to figure out exactly how to be in front of the camera, how to create really good content, and how to make a business out of all of this. So again, brendaturner.com/cc. Also, side note, if you like listening to this podcast, please go ahead and give it a thumbs up and subscribe if you haven't. And if you want this on Spotify, there is a Spotify version. I'll put the link below. If you could give me a rating on Spotify, you guys, that would be so cool. Okay, everybody, it was nice talking to you today. Thank you so much for joining me in this episode. Go crush it and start your YouTube channel. Bye, everybody. Okay, if you thought that was good, you're gonna wanna check out this video about intuitive productivity. I'm gonna teach you how to use your intuition to get more done with less effort. You definitely don't wanna miss that one.